Hey, it's Clay Trader, and this will be a video chart on ticker symbol MGTI. We will take a look at the 30-minute time frame. Real quick, what do I mean by 30-minute in case maybe you're new to charts? Instead of each one of these candlesticks here representing 1 day's worth of price action, which is what you would normally see, each one represents 30 minutes. So while this here may look like several days worth of time, it's actually just today's price action broken down into 30-minute time slices. I like to do this time frame. I think that's a good job of telling the quote-unquote story of the price, and then makes mapping out levels of support and resistance a bit easier to see. I've done this analysis on a pretty routine basis, so that is where these green and red line annotations are coming from. But after today's price movement, definitely some updates here need to be done. And the first update comes from a foundational principle in charting, which states when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. So for those of you that have watched the videos in the past, hopefully you remember me talking about 615-ish area as that level of support. But now that the price is broken below it, you can see that when the price actually did break below it, right here, that was kind of like the floodgates opening up. And then the price also broke through the purple line there, which is the 50-period simple moving average. So, these kind of two things essentially happening back to back that, really started to cause the downwards momentum. To give some credit where credit's due, though, as far as the last portion of the day, the bulls did start to show some signs of strength with a nice bounce right there. So we'll see if that can get any follow through into tomorrow. But really the main thing right now becomes ensuring that this pullback doesn't spin out of control. Now, how am I defining quote-unquote spinning out of control? In my mind, that all has to do with the pink line down here, which is the very famous 200-period simple moving average. Even if you have just a very basic, very surface deep understanding of charts, I'm sure you've heard of the 200-period, and you know that when the price is above it, assuming you're bullish, of course, you want to see the price stay above it because that's a long-term trend indicator. And that's why I'm going to use that as kind of the way to quantify the phrase spinning out of control. Let me scrunch this up here a little bit. So if the price were to come down here, I'm not saying at all that this is going to happen, but if the price were to come down here, bounce around, and then start to head back up, well, even at that point in time, sure, that's a deep pullback, but you'd have a set of lows there. You'd have this set right there. You'd have this set down there, and so on and so forth. And the overall stair steps would still very clearly be going in the upwards direction. Now, if the price comes down here and breaks down through there, then again, this is just basic technical analysis stuff that even, somebody that's just getting introduced to it is probably aware of, that when you see the price breaking down through the 200-period moving average, not a good sign, especially if the price separates to the downside. That is where I would call this pullback spinning out of control. But right now, yeah, it's a pretty deep pullback. But to sit here and say that everything's totally ruined, everything's spinning out of control, I think that's taking things a little bit too far, because you got to be fair to the bulls that the price is still well above that 200 period. And as long as that's the case from the long-term perspective, the overall trend is still in the bulls' favor. So we'll see how this one closes out the week tomorrow. One of the biggest questions that I get is, hey Clay, how do you find the stocks that you trade? So what I've done is put together a free resource guide where I talk about the tools that I use to locate stocks that I find interesting and think may have potential. So if that sounds like something that could add value to you as a trader, then click on the image that is up on the screen right now and I will email you the guide. The guide itself is very short and to the point, and best part, it's completely free. Thanks for watching the video. Let me know if you have any questions.